If you work for 10 years, you get your full Social Security benefit. So hit me with some facts about Social Security. How does it work? What's the setup? What are the drawbacks? What are possible fixes? Yeah.
People that are currently working are paying the people who are drawing from those benefits. The drawback of that being that people that are drawing from those benefits are now living longer, so there's not enough money to pay them.
Mm-hmm. Yep, that's great. Those are great ones. Other?
To like expand on what he just said, in the 50s there was a bigger pay base, and now that graph just, instead of it looking like a pyramid, it looks like a cylinder.
Yep, exactly. So because you are paying into the system for someone else to withdraw that money, if you have a bigger base of people working, you can support those retirees, right? But if they're the same number or fewer people working than retired, then there's not enough money to pay the people who are retired, right? What about retirement ages? So what's the difference in your benefit if you retire at 65 versus 72?
You got less money if you retire and then you get more money.
Exactly, right? So if the earlier you retire, the lower your monthly check is going to be. And the later you wait to retire, the bigger check is going to be. So why does the government do that?
Because they know people won't die. Well, they know that people will die and not make it to that older age.
Mm-hmm.
So it's less money that they have to give.
Yep, exactly. Okay, so what are some potential fixes to this problem of having more people retiring than people working?
Making the retiring age later.
Yep, so you're making so you can't start getting Social Security until later on. Yep.
Invest Social Security funds.
So you can invest Social Security funds, right? So currently Social Security is kept in this lockbox. It's not in the market. Why do they do that?
It's kind of like a safety thing.
Safety thing, right? So you've got, 100 million people's retirement funds. If you take that money and invest it in the stock market, the stock market crashes, then those people don't have any retirement anymore, right? So Social Security does not invest money in the market, it holds it, and you're allowed to buy treasury bills, and that's it. Yeah.
Raising taxes.
You could raise taxes. So currently, I don't remember the exact number, comes out to like 12%, 12.2%, 12.4%. 6.2% payroll tax,
Just shy.
you pay 6.2% employer tax, right? So you could up that amount of money, that percentage. Everyone could pay a little bit more, and that would shore up Social Security as well. Others, ideas? Okay, those are the major ones from me too. All right, awesome, great. I'm very pleased with that. Okay. Let's see. Social insurance. We've got mandatory funding.
It could be. Technically, yes.
I don't think that's what I had in mind. I didn't bring a cheat sheet this time. All right, where do you go with it? Mandatory funding. So here's the thing. Social insurance means I think this is right. So why is social insurance mandatory? Why is social insurance have to be funded mandatorily? What's the other option here? What does this mean?
The other option would be that it receives discretionary funding, and if I'm remembering it correctly, social insurance is just the opposite of means tested, where social insurance is an entitlement.
Exactly. Okay. So social insurance is an entitlement. It's something that everyone is entitled to, right? It's social lives, everyone gets it. And that means that it is mandatory spending because the government must fulfill that obligation. So anyone who claims this thing, Social Security, for example, must be paid. So there are two ways the government pays for things. One is through discretionary spending. They decide each year how much money they want to spend on something, right? So, TANF is a good example of that, right? Every year the government might say, we want to spend $3 billion on welfare. That's how much money we're going to spend on it. End of story, right? And that means that every year they have to include that as part of the budget. Has to get passed. But mandatory spending means that no matter how many people ask for this benefit, whoever qualifies gets it. The government has to fund this no matter what. Okay, so it doesn't need to be appropriated every year. It just has to be spent. All right. Okay, sorry. SSDI? What does that stand for? That's right. Social Security Disability Insurance. And here we've got blind, disability, elderly, and low income / assets. And you get health insurance and a monthly cash benefit. Does that sound right?
Mm-hmm.
Sounds like
No.
SSI.
It sounds like SSI. So why don't we switch these? Okay, let's try this one. SSDI. Workers who are blind, disabled, paid into the SSDI trust, get health insurance and a monthly cash benefit. Okay, so let's just do these two at the same time. SSI, supplemental security insurance, I believe. I think. Let's say yes. Blind, disability, elderly, and low income. Low assets, you get health insurance and monthly cash benefits. So on the face of it, these things look very similar, right? SSDI, SSI. What is the key difference between these? The working part. That's right. So in SSDI, much like much like Social Security, you must have been working or been a worker, right? You have to have paid into the system in order to get the benefits. And SSI covers the same set, generally a disability, but it's for people who are low income or have low assets. So workers, low income people. This says get health insurance, monthly cash benefit, health insurance, monthly cash benefit. What do we know from class about the differences between those benefits for the two programs?
It's a lot better for SSDI, and you can work and receive. In either one of those cases, you can work. But if you work for SSI, you take 50 cents of every dollar, and they don't take nearly as much SSDI.
Right, that's exactly right. So the benefits as a baseline are much more generous for SSDI, for people who have worked. The benefits for SSI are much lower, right? The pass-through, the amount of money you get to keep if you are working and on SSDI, is much higher. So if you are in an SSDI and you also are still working, you get to keep more of your earnings and more of your benefit. If you're on SSI and you work, after the first, can't remember how many now. After the first X number of dollars you earn, $65 you earn, thank you, you lose 50 cents for every dollar that you earn above that in benefits, right? So, if I'm writing an essay about this, one of the things I would say is that this is a story about deserving and undeserving poor, right? The deserving poor here, those who have worked but have suffered a disability, get to keep a lot more money and they get a lot more benefits. Those who are on SSI, who are low income and have low assets, get much lower benefits and don't get to keep as much money if they are working, right? Potentially the undeserving poor, being low income. Questions about these two, SSDI and SSI? Okay. All right, 10F. Oh boy. Okay. Welfare. Replace AFTC. Its block grants it has work requirements and lifetime limits. That sound right? Yes, that's right. Okay, so AFTC was Aid to Families with Dependent Children. 10F stands for Temporary Assistance to Needy Families. So you can see the difference just in the names, right? Aid to Families with Dependent Children, Temporary Assistance to Needy Families. So TANF is less generous, it's temporary, so you can work. Most states have a lifetime limit of 5 years of TANF receipt. It has work requirements, and because it's, what is the thing we talked about block grants and TANF? What's the problem that we encountered? Yeah, sorry.
I don't know if this is right or not, but is it that the states get to choose where exactly that money goes?
Exactly, right? So, because the state gives a block of, the federal government gives a block of money to states and say, spend this on TANF, but the states don't have to just do that. They can use that money in lots of different related and somewhat unrelated ways, right? So we looked at, I think in the slides, we looked at how Illinois has spent their TANF money over the years, and it's to fill different holes in their budget. So they spend a lot of TANF money on child welfare. They spend some TANF money on childcare. They put it around, but a small portion of it actually goes to cash welfare benefits. And this is it's a problem if you think TANF should be going to TANF money. Okay, tax expenditures. Subsidies given through the tax code, deductions, exclusions, and refunds. That sound right? It is right. So what is the thing about this in terms of poverty? Does this go to helping the poor people? Right. Tax exemptions are largely focused on the middle class and the upper middle class. So home mortgage deductions, right? Deductions for charitable giving. Deductions for exclusions on capital gains, right? Tax refunds. These are all things for people who first pay taxes, so who have earnings and are employed. And second, for people who have a certain level of needs, who own a house, who have deductions or exclusions they can make on student loans, for example, right? So these are a huge amount of money the government essentially spends by not collecting through taxes that are all focused not on people in poverty, but on people in the kind of middle and upper middle classes. And businesses, right? Okay, Medicare. We have 65 years or older, permanent disability, health insurance, and we have Part A, Part B, Part C, and Part D. Does that sound right? They're both right, yes. So Medicare is your health insurance for the elderly, and it has 4 parts, which I'm not going to go over, but you can look up. Okay, Adoption Assistance and Child Welfare Act. We have cash for least restrictive setting, reunification, prevention programs, and adoption assistance. Sound right? Yes, that's right. What do I want to say with this? This is not the big child welfare legislation, right? We'll get to that one. But another one that's really important, focused in particular on adoption and placement, and orients really our whole child welfare system on getting children in the least restrictive setting possible. So focus on kin and kith care. All right, OASI In the study guide, this is misspelled to OASDI, just OASI, what we're looking at. We've got block grants, matching funds, specific program, expand Medicaid combo.
That was the last one.
I don't think that's right.